All right, you'll likely remember earlier this month, President Biden signed a bill officially ending the COVID-19 national emergency.
However, the effects of the pandemic are still felt in various sectors across the U.S., especially in the real estate market for office spaces. According to a new article from WebPro News, Americans are spending between 25 to 35% less time in the office. This has led to a 15% drop in demand for office space.
Joining us now is Victor Calanog. He is the head of commercial real estate economics for Moody's Analytics, joining us here in New York City. Victor, you know, there's the debate over which is good for people, which is beneficial, to work at home, to be in the office. But what's clear is fewer people are working remotely. So in what areas across the country are you seeing occupancy falling the most when it comes to office space and real estate? And what impact is that having on the overall economy?
Well, thanks for having me. It is true. That's a sharp question that there are differences across geographies. When you've got larger, more congested, traditional dense urban areas like New York and San Francisco, that's where we're seeing a bit more of a drop when it comes to physical occupancies of office space. When you have markets in the South, Texas, Phoenix, and so on and so forth, where it turns out that getting to the office is less of an issue when it comes to taking long commuter rides, actually the occupancy rates for those places are somewhat back to pre-COVID numbers. We're at around 60% in those places, whereas we're still hovering between 35 to 40% physical occupancies in the New Yorks and San Franciscos of this world. Back to you.
Interesting that each region is a bit different. Yeah. Well, e-commerce sales have surged in recent years, in part because of the pandemic. What effect has this had on the market for storefronts?
For storefronts in particular, it is quite interesting because the conversations we've been having over the last 20 years was that retail was going to die off, brick and mortar was a thing of the past, everything is going to migrate online. Now, there was a spike when it came to e-commerce sales, but this is a 20 to 22-year trend that's been ongoing. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon, but what's happened is that it's divided retail, brick and mortar to have and have nots. You've got some pockets which are doing fine, particularly those neighborhood and community shopping centers where they're anchored by groceries and pharmacies. 95 to 97% of groceries in the US are still purchased in stores. But when you've got traditional retail outlets selling apparel, for example, or things like books, you've got more of a beleaguered situation because then the e-commerce channel is a clear substitute for those goods.
That's a big reason why Bed Bath & Beyond is going under. So, okay, more people are buying things online, fewer people are physically in their offices, and you've also got the Federal Reserve hiking interest rates, 9 times now between March of 22 and 2023. So what impact is all of that having on the commercial real estate sector itself? There are signs that it is in real trouble.
All eyes right now are actually on how you determine values of these assets. On the income side, when it comes to rents and vacancies, they've actually been remarkably stable throughout the pandemic, particularly for income-producing property types like multifamily or apartments. Those are still boast pretty low vacancies. But for the office sector, you now have 19% vacancies at the national level. That means that almost 1/5 of all offices in the US are vacant. Right? And we're projecting that number to go even higher. That's for your income side. And what does that do to the value side and what investors are willing to actually invest and or lend to when it comes to this asset class? So all eyes are on the capital side, on the value side. And unfortunately, it's office that's in the crosshairs of these conversations.
Wow.
So now we got to find some new uses for those empty offices.
That's right.
Victor Calanog, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Victor.
Thank you very much. Bye.